It's fair, life ain't fair. Just prepare and you get there. It's never easy. Please believe me, you can be anything.
Hello. I've done several videos over the past few weeks talking about the estimated property values for residential property taxes. Well, today is the day when I'm going to find out exactly how much the estimated market value has increased on this property behind me. I received 3 different letters from the Honorable Joseph Barrios, the Cook County Assessor, on today, and we're going to take a look and find out exactly what the increase is going to be since this property was a part of the reassessment. So we'll go ahead and take a look right now. Inside of your mailbox, you'll see a letter that's going to look something like these. We're going to take a look at the first property, which just so happens to be this one. On it, it's going to show you the increase in your estimated fair market value. What? According to this property's estimated fair market value went from $118,460 to $150,130. That is an increase of $131,670. I gotta appeal these right away. So now that I'm going to be appealing the property taxes for this property, the first thing I'm going to need to do is go to cookcountyassessor.com. That's the website for the Honorable Joseph Barrios, the Cook County Assessor. It's going to look something like this. Once here, I'm then going to select the option for File a Residential Appeal. It is going to ask me for my PIN. The PIN is listed on that reassessment that I recently received in the mail. So you simply type it in, and then you're going to make certain to enter the captcha code exactly as it shows up on the screen. Then click search, and upon doing so, it's going to bring up your appeal history and ask you if you want to file a new appeal. In this case, I absolutely want to file a new appeal. So I'm going to enter in a daytime phone number for myself, which just so happens to be my work phone number. And then, when asked the reason for an appeal, I'm going to select lack of uniformity as well as an over-evaluation. I highly recommend you select those. If the property is vacant, you can do that. If the building has been raised, you can also include that. If there was fire damage or recent foreclosure purchase, you can do all of those different options. If it's a multi-parcel, you can select that option. In this case, it's not. And then it's going to ask, would you like to use comparable properties? We absolutely want to use comparable properties, and I recommend you doing so as well. It gives you the option to search for comparable properties, but I'm going to show you a little trick which could be the key between you having your appeal granted versus having your appeal denied. One of the most important things you can do when filing an appeal for your property taxes is work with a realtor to get what is called a comparative market analysis. Once again, you're going to request that realtor put together what is called a comparable market analysis. To let you know what that looks like, I'm going to show you the one that was done for this property. So I worked with a realtor by the name of Pedro Rice, who is an excellent realtor who I highly recommend because he's willing to do these type of comparative market analyses for free. And anytime you can get something for free, it's going to help. And oh, by the way, these are some good looking shoes over here. Totally separate matter. What that comparative market analysis is going to look like is this. It is going to, at the top, say comparative market analysis. and you'll see that it's 81 pages. That's the reason why it's such a great idea to work with a realtor who's going to do this for free, because many realtors will charge for this type of report because there's some work involved with it. In this case, it is for the address here in South Holland. And what it is that you're going to be looking for is the side-by-sides. So a comparative market analysis is a side-by-side comparison of homes for sale and homes that have recently sold in the same neighborhood and price range. This is essentially what the Cook County Assessor utilizes in order to determine what the estimated fair market value of your home is. As I mentioned, this one was done by Pedro. Here's his information. I'm going to be including that as a photo in this post so you can get it from there as well. But great guy who's willing to do these at no cost to you. Now what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down to the summary of comparable properties which have sold. It is imperative that you look at this data because this is the same data that the Cook County Assessor utilizes. In your case, you're going to be looking at all of these properties initially. Now what you'll notice is that it shows that the average for these properties that were recently sold within the last year is $155,245. That's actually $5,000 more than what the Cook County Assessor is proposing that the estimated fair market value for this home should go up to. So I'm positive you're probably thinking to yourself, the assessor didn't do that bad of a job. Your property has an estimated fair market value of around $155,000. That's what the data shows, right? Well, wrong. And the reason why is because take a look at these square footages. So the square footage for this property, and I'm going to go back over to this screen, which doesn't have it anymore. But the square footage for this property is 1,433 square feet. That's the size of this home. However, the comparable properties range widely in terms of the square footage. You'll notice that the first one is 1,600, the second one 1,300. Now those two are pretty close. They're within 200 square feet, give or take, more or less. But then we get to the third one, which is 1,800 square feet. That's an additional 400 square feet. Now that's not that bad either. But then you get to more than 700 square feet larger. 2,180, 2,880, 3,486. This property is double the size of my home. So why is it being included in the comps? So what you want to do, and this is the part that takes a little work on your effort, however, it's going to potentially save you some money. So it's well worth it. You want to go through these and you want to discern which ones are closest to yours. So you're going to be looking at the properties that are ideally within 300 square feet less or 300 square feet more. I've actually taken the time to do so, and I've highlighted the list of properties which are within 300 square feet. You'll notice that it's about half the properties which are showing up on this report. So the actual comparable properties is half as many as what's included in the comparative market analysis that Pedro prepared for me. The Cook County Assessor uses an almost identical formula. So the same way that Pedro's report shows that the average price of properties sold in the local area was $155,000, the assessor says that it was $150,000. Now it's up to me, the property owner, to tell the Honorable Joseph Barrios, no, that's not the accurate number. These properties represent the accurate number. So now we have the address, we have the bedrooms, the bathrooms, we have the square footage, and we have the price in which it's sold, as well as the date in which it's sold. This is the information that's going to help us prepare the actual appeal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the PIN for each of these properties. And how I do that is by going to cookcountypropertyinfo.com, which is another free website that's available by the Cook County government. So then I'm going to type in that address right after I click on search by property address. Now that first address was 1302 168th place in South Highland, Illinois. Don't worry about putting in the direction. Don't worry about putting in the zip code. Just put in the number, the street, and the city, and then click search. And it is going to bring up the 14-digit PIN for this property. So what you'll do from there is click on it, and then it's going to give you a look at the property itself. In this instance, it shows what the estimated property value was. This property had an estimated property value almost identical to my home. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to take this PIN and I'm going to put it into the comparable properties, because this one sold for just $100,000, and that represents an accurate fair market value because it actually sold. So we don't have to guess as to what it was. This one sold for $100,000 back on October 10th. So potentially, if I was to sell my home, someone might pay that amount. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in all of these additional PINs that I would have looked up. In this case, I already looked them up, so that's the reason why I'm able to type it in. And I'm going to put in 6 of the properties which are closest. Now I can only put in 6, so I'm going to make a judgment call on which 2 I leave off. And I'm sure you can probably guess which 2 I'm going to be leaving off. So in that instance, what I'm going to then do is come back over here and type in the remaining PINs for the other properties which are similar to mine. Now, on average, it takes anywhere from roughly about 20 minutes to 45 minutes to get this information. But mind you, it could be 20 to 45 minutes, you're going to get a great return on investment. But you enter in all of this information, and by doing so, this is going to be what it is that the assessor now takes a look at to determine the comparables for your property. And make sure that you enter in all of the correct ones, because in the event you enter in one of those ones that was for the higher amount, the assessor is potentially going to look at that one as well. So once you have in those comparable properties, you're then going to click next. And then it's going to ask you about your property. You want to make sure that all of this information is correct. If it says frame masonry, but it's just frame, then at which point you want to correct that. It's then going to ask you for the email of yourself. So go ahead and put in your email address. So this way it will let you know once the appeal has been received, and then once the appeal has been processed. At that point, it's then going to allow you to click finish. And here is the confirmation which says your property tax appeal filing has been successfully received for processing. Thank you. Within the next 4 hours, you will receive an email acknowledging receipt of this appeal filing. You have officially filed your appeal. I recommend print this out for your records so that way no one can say, hey, you didn't do it. You'll actually have it on file for your records, and you are done. It is just that easy. In less than an hour worth of research and appealing, you can have appealed your property taxes and hopefully gotten it down to the amount in which it should be. Now, I'm sure you're saying to yourself, well, what amount should it be if it shouldn't be $150,630? Well, we're going to do the math for you. So we've got these 8 properties. The first one sold for $100,000. The second one sold for $117,000. The third one sold for $196,000. The fourth one sold for $114,900. The fifth one for $128,500. The sixth one for $165,000. The seventh one for $125,000. And the eighth one for $110,000. So we got to go back and change that. $110,000. So for a grand total of $1,056,400. That's the total aggregate for those 8 properties. Now I'm going to divide that number by 8, and that's what the estimated fair market value should be for a home of 1,433 square feet. These 8 properties are within 300 square feet both below and above, and they recently sold within the last year for an average of $132,050. That's what it is that I'm hoping the assessor is going to return the number of, but if the assessor does not, I'm then going to also appeal to the Cook County Board of Review, and I'll be doing that video very shortly. I'd once again like to thank my cameraman, Marvin Reed, for doing an excellent job as always, and please make certain to appeal your property taxes, as you only have 30 days from the date in which you receive that reassessment in the mailbox, just like me. Have a great one, and best of luck.
More than just to survive, you gotta be more than only your drive. You gotta want more out of yourself. You gotta work for more than just improvement. You gotta care about the next generation. You gotta have more than rough expectations. You gotta be a leader that others look to. And ask themselves, what will I do? Cause you can make anything if you trust and believe. Good work and you will see. There is nothing you can achieve. You can make anything if you trust and believe. Good work and you will see. There is nothing you can achieve.